Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? Welcome to another exciting episode of Percona's bi-weekly Postgres live stream. I am Matt Yankovic, the head of open source strategy here at Percona, with Charlie, our esteemed Postgres tech lead. Charlie, how are you today?
Hey man, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Well, weather here is starting to get a little bit chilly these days, but well, apart
Chilly.
of
It's
that,
getting cold there.
yeah,
It's not supposed to be cold there.
I know. This is what I say to my wife here, right? So we were in Brazil, but last week it got like for 5, 6 Celsius degrees here. So weird times.
Yeah. So Charlie is wearing the official hat of Percona Live. Now,
Yeah.
I have to ask Charlie, did you earn that hat?
Of course, I did. I had 3 presentations, one tutorial, and a lot of meetings on Percona Live, so I deserve this one.
You deserved that one. So, but well,
Yeah.
I thought you did. You collect all the buttons? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, also I got all of them, and I was the holder of one of the buttons, and I made it quite hard for people to get one because I took some Brazilian cachaça. It's kind of a rum from Brazil.
Okay.
So if they wanted to get one of my buttons, they would have to pay the price that was a shot of the cachaça.
Wow. So I don't know if anybody's watching who did shots with Charlie, but shots with Charlie earned you a button, which earned you one step closer to the magical hat.
Exactly, exactly.
Yes.
So
Yes. How was Percona Live? Because I didn't go because I had COVID. Damn you, COVID.
yeah. Well, and how are you feeling, by the way?
Oh, I'm mostly better. Like it's weird. Since COVID hit, there's 1 or 2 days where I'll wake up and my head will just be like underwater. It'll be like
Mhm.
like foggy for like several hours. But other than that, it's fine. It's been a while since I had a cough or anything going on there, so I think it's pretty good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I'm good. But I missed it all, so you have to tell me how was it?
No, no, it was amazing. Coming back after 2 years without Percona Live, or at least after without Percona Live on site, right? So we had 2 remote ones the last year. So and now having all the experience, everybody there. So talking to the customer and talking to other developers, talking to the people from the community, it was really amazing. So the quality of the talks these years were pretty high, really high. The I went for a few of them and I really enjoyed some of them. Like I got a lot of questions. Some people there doing amazing things. Like I went to a talk where the presenter was showing the improvements they are doing for the storage subsystem on Postgres. Right. So and it was really good. It was really interesting. A lot of really good topics,
Hmm.
and it was amazing to see people that we didn't see for a long time. So I met Jaime Sikan from APAC.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was there. So I didn't see him for ages. And other amazing people like Sveta was the one that had my shots, one of the shots,
Oh,
right?
of course,
So
of
she
course.
got, yeah. And other people they so Alkin and a lot of other people they've been there. So it was really amazing to see all those faces that we didn't see for a long time, right? So it was a great experience, really good.
Well, just the week before, Postgres 15's beta was announced, and I know there was a talk, at least one talk, there might have been a couple, on Postgres 15 features. So that's one of the things that I missed that I really wanted to go to. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to chat with Brian Katz a little bit about some of the stuff that the community's been doing there, and I know his talk was on that, but I didn't get a chance to catch up there. So um, looking forward to diving into some of the Postgres 15 stuff.
Yeah, it was unfortunate for you, right? The COVID thing. So yeah, but like,
Yeah.
well, that's life. Sometimes shit happens, right? So
Yes, yes. But the good news is I'm going to be all over the world in the next few weeks. So, next week I'm at the Southeast Linux Fest in Charlotte. Then I'm off to Austin again. So I get to go to Austin, even though I missed Austin for the week for the OSS Summit. I'm out to Amsterdam for DevOps Days, Amsterdam. And then I'm going to try and make it over to the Data and Kubernetes. There's a London meetup as well. So going to be bouncing around Europe a little bit. So if people out there want to get a coffee or something, or in one of the cities that I'm going to be around, let me know. I'd be happy to sit down and love to hear what you all are doing. But enough banter, because we're not actually here just to talk about Percona Live and where I'm traveling to and what sort of interesting things I'm doing. We're here to talk about replication and Postgres. Yes. So so we've got a couple things going on here, that I wanted to bring up. So number one, we're going to be moving this stream to Thursdays. There was enough of you that said Fridays. We love you guys. We love Charlie. We love Chino. But Friday night at 8:00, when it is between my partner, my significant other, or Charlie and you, I gotta spend Friday evening with them. So because for many of you in Europe or in APAC, this is not a great time. We're going to be moving this to Thursdays, and we're going to go 2 hours earlier. So that's something to keep in mind. Go ahead and check that out. I'm just getting a note that people can't see, a couple people can't see the video, so I got to just tell them they're having problems. So I'm getting pinged on the side here going like, it's not starting. But I do see that we did get a comment already. But anyway, so we're going to move this 2 hours earlier, and it's going to be on Thursdays starting in 2 weeks. The other thing is, because this was such a big topic, and this relates to the question that came in was, how are we going to be doing failover, streaming replication, or logical? We decided to break this into two. So this week we are focused exclusively just on kind of the standard tried and true simple replication. Whereas next week we're going to focus, or in 2 weeks, we're going to focus on Patroni. Exactly. And so we're going to be kind of flipping this where, in a couple weeks we were going to start looking at a couple different topics, looking at migrating between servers. Instead, we're going to be looking at Patroni in 2 weeks. And so hello from Brazil. Yes, hello, Brazil. That's awesome. So Charlie's in Brazil. You're in Brazil. I am not. But PG Brazil's coming up, so hopefully you all can say hello to one another. So this will be standard replication. We're going to be setting up replication from the start, getting it working, figuring out how to get it set up and going, and then we might be able to do some manual kind of interactions, but then we'll be working on the automation in 2 weeks. The idea is for today is to set up the foundations, right? So we're going to put the foundations here for what we're going to use. For today we're focusing on streaming replications, right? So we try to break it and make things work again. So I hope we get a couple of troubles today, so we can go there and try to fix those things. And one thing that I want to show today, and to make people try to understand a bit more how it really works under the hood, and some options that we can use for streaming replication. Because there are some challenges when your database starts growing. For example, we have a customer that they have a few terabytes of data on their database. And when they were trying to set up a replica, the backup for the replica was timing out. The backup was being done, but that's because they were not using log shipping, because they are not saving the logs. When the backup finished, it was not able to start replication. So they tried like a couple of weeks and they were not able to fix the problem. So how we fix that problem using stream replication? You
are we able to, in their case, they had two options. They could set up the log shipping, right? So you save the logs. And the problem is, to do that, they had to shut down the database. So, and in their case, shut down the database was not an option. Is there any way that we can do the configuration from the client or from the replica to tell to the primary, look, don't remove the logs because I still need those log files. When I say log, I'm talking about the WAL files, right? So don't remove the WAL files because, well, we are not archiving them. That was the problem that they had. We are not archiving the WAL files. So, but they still need to use those WAL files until we finish the replication, right? So is there a way, an easy way to solve the problem? Can we do something? Do we need to, for example, to set up a cron job to do an rsync from time to time? What can we do to solve this kind of problem, right? And when we have a small database, that's okay. But like when you have like a gigantic database and a huge amount of data, that might be a problem that, you know, like when you start scaling things, that might be a problem. And the idea for today is, okay, let's go there. Let's start asynchronous stream replication. And if we have time, let's go for synchronous replication because people have a lot of doubts on how that works. Some assumptions on synchronous replication is also a problem, because a lot of companies, they want to use synchronous replication, but they still want to keep the performance. Is it possible to have synchronous replication without losing too much of performance? Right. So, and the idea for today is, okay, let's start diving those things. Let's see how things go. And then for the next session, we do the whole automation using something like Percona and make everything works like to start building our high available class around Postgres. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me. I've been troubleshooting a couple people's questions who have come in directly.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, you know, setting that basic stuff up, ensuring that, you know, you are not losing, you know, any data, ensuring that you're getting the WAL files copied over, and things are not going missing or MIA. Those are all really important topics. So yeah, let's dive into it.
Okay, let's share my screen here. Just a second.
Sharing the screen.
So you able to see my screen?
We are able to see your screen.
Okay, so I have two servers here, where this one is the primary, and I have this another server here that we have Postgres installed, and we want to make this replica for the other one. So do we have load, Matt, on those server, on the primary one?
No,
is it
right
possible
now there
to
is
have some load?
I can generate load. It'll just take me a second to log in and do it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
I also want to take some time to do a cleanup here. So I'm gonna use screen dash spgha.
So you see me turn, and when you see me turn, I'm typing to someone. So just realize that I am not ignoring you all. And typically I want to look at the camera, but because the screen that I can do shell and everything is over here as opposed to over here.
Yeah, I also have the same problem. Sometimes I need to move here or here because those two different screens.
First world problems, everyone, right? So where's your stuff?
Okay, I should have this data here. That's our data G. This is, as it implies, Charlie's replica, even though it has my name. It's Matt.
No, server. This is Charlie's replica server. I am. Hey, people are asking, can we increase the font size a little bit?
Well, definitely.
Yeah. Better? Oh, that might be like. Yeah, I mean that's pretty big, but I think that should be good.
Okay.
Welkson, is that good? Is that good for you? Is that better? We'll assume yes.
Okay.
Hopefully I'll respond in a second.
Yeah. So what we have here we have all, well, you just did a clone, right? Just
Yeah,
tell people what you did. Yeah, you cloned that box inside of this box. We have a exactly copy.
Yeah, I
of
just created an
everything, right?
image from the disks and then just started
Okay.
it up as a new MI.
So then I can wipe out everything here. So we don't have anything. This is our data here. So we mounted the mount point on this volume here. So the extra volume we got. And if I remember correctly, we have a var lead PGS, not PG backrest, but PostgreSQL. This 13, and here we have main that's pointing to data new. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unlink main. I'm gonna create and t data. I'm gonna call replica just to differentiate. Replica. So okay. Data replica main. Okay, we have, and then shell -r Postgres. So what the only thing that I'm doing here is I'm creating the data folders, right? So here I have a Postgres with an empty data folder. We only have the full Postgres instance installed here, version 13. And in this box, we have another Postgres, an instance, but running now. So I can connect to this instance here. Okay.
By the way, I'm going to just use a little bit of workload. I'm not going to overload you.
Yeah, no, it's just fine. Just for us to have some data, something there. So yeah, we don't need to have that huge amount of data for now.
Yeah, this will be kind of light. Let's put it that way.
Okay. So if we do a select stuff from pg stat replication, we're going to see that we have nothing here. So no replicas, nobody is replicating. So select stuff from pg stat. Subscriptions, we don't have any subscription. Select stuff from pg replication slots. So yeah, we don't have anything here related to replication, right? So this is just a standalone box. We have some load.
Should be a little bit right now. Okay, so now it just started.
Yeah,
so it should be like
I
5
can
or
see.
6 connections that are doing 5 or 6
Mhm.
users doing some stuff. So
Cool. Yeah, I can see some activity here. Nice. So we have this box. We want to build a replica from this box to that other box. So first things first, I need to see what is my IP. The IP of this box is this one. Okay. So, and for the other one, just make sure they're in the same network. Yeah, they are in the same network. Okay. Now, I need to be able to connect. Yeah.
Now I did just so people are aware, these 2 boxes I did set it up so these are Amazon boxes. So by default, it's fairly locked down from a firewall perspective, so they can access each other via Postgres across the wire. I only opened up shell or SSH and the Postgres and PMM ports. So in case you were trying to replicate this and you go in and you're like, oh, I can't connect from one box to the next, it's probably that firewall issue.
Yeah, and we are using, here I'm using the local IP, right? So I'm just testing if I am able to connect. Well, I'm able to connect from this box to another one. All good. So far, so good. No problems at the moment. So I'm gonna check here my pghpa.conf to see if I have the replication allowed here. So I have the replication protocol and user named replicator. They is allowed to use this replication protocol on the whole network here. Right, so let's see how that goes. So looks like I have everything that I need. What we need to do now is to copy the data from the primary to the replica. There are two ways that we can use to do the copy. So we can do a poor man backup, let's put on this way, that from the primary to the replica. If we could, for example, stop the primary, we could do a cold copy. So like, for example, what you did here, you just stop the database and then you clone the one machine to another one. Right. That's probably the fastest way to have a copy of the box that you have, right? The problem is the database needs to be stopped. And the box needs to be stopped for you to have a consistent copy from one box to another one, right? So we can also use rsync, for example, and do the same, right? But those cold copies, they have the problem that we need to stop our database to copy the data, right? And Postgres has its own tool to create the backup. That is the pg-base backup. That's the tool that we're gonna use here. And it has a lot of options. If I like run here with dash help as I did here, we're gonna see that we have a lot of options here. So some of them are pretty straightforward. For example, the host name, this is the host name that you're gonna connect, the port, the username, the password, so we can, those are same options as when we connect to the database using PSQL. And we have other few options, they are not so straightforward, let's put on this way. Because we can tell the tool what we want the tool to do. For example, we can ask the tool to open a stream to the primary and copy the WAL files. So while we are copying the data from the primary, we also want to be able to copy the WAL files. So when we finish the backup, we have both the data that we need, and we also have the WAL files that we might need to apply when you copy the data. Because remember, it's basically rsync, right? So it's copy, it does the pg-base backup. It will do a checkpoint on the primary to ask the primary to do a check, or wait for the primary to do a checkpoint. When the primary does a checkpoint, we have a consistent point in time that we can apply future WAL files. Remember the thing when we did the point in time recovery, we need to have a checkpoint. So from that checkpoint, we can tell the database like, I want to apply up to this point, or I want to forward. So the pg-base backup will wait for the primary to do a checkpoint, and after that checkpoint, it will start copying the data. So until up to that point, up to the checkpoint, the data is consistent. If the database starts and there's no other WAL files to redo the data, we still have the data that is consistent up to that point, up to the checkpoint. Everything else can be rolled back. The thing is, we don't want to roll back. We want to keep applying and then start replicating from the primary, right? And this is what the tool gonna do. Let's do it like it seems complicated, but doing it's a lot easier to understand, right? So the option that we tell to the tool that we want to keep copying is -X. I'm trying to see here. Capital X, I don't, oh, it's here. So we tell the tool, okay, we want to keep copying the data. So it will open two connections to the primary. It's like two replication connections. One is to copy the data, the replication, it's the backup itself. And another connection is to copy the WAV files, right? So let's start building here what we want. We want the host name is my IP of this node. Just a second, we turn on the heater here and it's quite hot. Let me turn it off. So this is, I'm gonna use another user. Remember that we configured the user replicator. So I need to make sure that the user exists. So create user replicator. And it should have the privilege of replication. And I'm not sure if this is the privilege name, but we're gonna find some. And the password, for this example, I'm gonna use 1, 2, 3. Wow.
No one will ever guess that password.
Yeah, it's very complicated. And luckily, the user already exists. So I'm gonna alter user replicator. And I'm gonna encrypt the password. Right? 3, 2, 1.
Ooh.
Okay. Now it's encrypted.
Now it's the same as my luggage.
Well, same as your luggage. Okay. So the username is replicator. We're using the full port. I'm gonna put here capital W, so it will ask for us to type the password, right? It will force to prompt the password. The first option, remember, we're gonna tell is the X. We want it to copy, and there are 3 or 4 methods 3 options here actually, 2 of the methods that we can use. In our case, we're gonna use the string. So another option that we can tell to PGBase backup is to open or create a replication slot. Remember the problem that I said for that customer that had terabytes of data. So this -X might help to solve the problem. What if the workload is so intensive that it writes so much data on the primary that the replica is not able to copy the WAV files before the primary removes the WAV files? So we're going to still have some missing WAV files here, right? So this is just part of the solution to solve the problem. So it will try to copy the WAV files, but we still might have a problem if our workload is so intensive that the primary writes too fast and the replica is not able to keep up with that load, and then we just lose the WAV files from time to time. So to solve the problem, we can tell, look, I want you to use a replication slot. So a replication slot is something that will be created on the primary, and that tells the primary, look, we have some clients, replicas, they are connecting here for application, and they're using this slot. And they will tell us when we can remove the WAV files. The replication slot will prevent the primary to remove WAV files until the replica tells the primary that it's safe to remove that WAV files. Those 2 options, they solve the problem that I just explained when you have like super intensive writing workload and that's write too much WAL files, and sometimes they removed before your replica is able to copy those WAL files. So, but we have the other problem. You need to be careful that you have enough disk space because the WAL files will be hanging there. Another problem is if all the clients, like if the clients that use the application is locked, if they're offline, they won't be able to tell the primary to remove the WAL files, right? So the primary will never remove those WAL files. And then you might have a problem that you have in your configuration file now. I have here the retention policy of my files are 1 day, but now I have 20 days of archive of all files. Why is this is not being used? Why is not being removed, I mean? So one problem might be the replication slots, right? So, and this, when you create a replication slot, we need to be careful for those situations as well. So if you have a replication slot and you don't have if the clients are not using the replication slot anymore, we should go on the primary and remove the replication slot. I'll show later how we do those things. And so here we need to tell the name of the replication slot. I'm gonna call Replica 1. Just
seems like a reasonable name. By the way, XYZ did throw a couple comments. A couple of them we'll come back to, but said max wall size should be greater than 2, as you said, 1 for wall movement and 1 for backup.
Max wall size. Actually, it's it's not the max.
Oh, max wall sender. Yeah.
Oh yeah, wall sender, exactly. Yeah. So exactly. So because when we use this option here, this PG based backup will open 2 connections to the primary. That's a very good comment. It will open 2 connections to the primary, right? So if you need to have max wall senders and not wall senders on the primary to be able to surface all the connections that are being opened, right? So, and you need to to pay attention. If you have other replicas that we're using, so you need to go to the primary and increase the max wall senders. That's a good point. Okay, replica. -S. So let's go. Okay, oops. To be able to use the S is just the replica name. We need to use capital C. This is the create slot, and this is the slot name. So we can make it verbose. In our case, well, let's make it verbose.
Just right? So we can see what it does. The
exactly,
magic of
exactly.
the live stream. It'll be stored on YouTube forever.
Yep. As we're making it verbose, it's also good to see the progress. So we can ask it to tell us the progress, right? So some progress information. And that's it. Now the last bit is to tell where we want to store this data. So -D tells to the tool where is the folder. Remember, we create the var lib pgsql it's Postgres actually 13 main. Yeah. Okay, here is where I want to save. And if everything goes well, we're gonna ask for the password. Remember, we have an encrypted password. And it failed. So it failed because there is no entry for this host using SSL off, right? So replication host using connection SSL on. So we need to turn off the SSL. So is there any option for us to turn off the SSL?
I don't know. Let's look at the man file. Let's look at the help here.
If we go to PSQL, this is my own prompt here. So we on PSQL we can use this SSL mode disable, and we can pass the parameters here. So I'm gonna try on. I've never tried using on pgBase backup to see if that works. And let's try to do it. So I'll just copy here. So I have the host. Okay. Two main arguments on command line for pgBase backup. Yeah, looks like it didn't work. All right, so then I didn't want to change my pgBase. So let's ask Google. pgBase backup. SSL off. Okay. Let's just change your pgBase then. And we just, a question for you. Do I need to restart the database when I change the pgHBA file?
I think so.
You sure?
Well, I mean, that's the networking config, right? So
okay, what do
especially
I do
if you're talking SSL.
What do I have to do here?
To disable SSL?
Yeah, like, but yeah, what do I have to do for that one? Should I just put one host here? That's replication, right? Replication protocol. Replicate to, which is this IP.
Yeah, so it should just be right. So you would just put host no SSL in there as
Where?
So I'm checking out the docs real quick. So it would be host no SSL. Wait a minute. Third type of behavior. So instead of host, it's host no SSL.
Okay, host dash or host together, no SSL?
All together, just no SSL.
Okay.
Then database user IP mask auth method.
We can disable just for this one, right?
Yes, you can define it for a specific address, supposedly.
Okay. Yeah, I'm saved. So now I should restart the database, but can I do?
You might not have to. I wonder if for that client. Let's see. That's the client authentication. So if it would.
Did you reload conf, something like that? Yeah. Some of the configurations, we don't really need to restart the database. Most of the ones on pgHBA, if not all of them, I don't remember top of my mind, we can just ask the database to reload. So there are two ways that we can do. We can select the pg reload here, or you can send a signal on Postgres to reload the configuration from the terminal, like systemctl reload or sigterm or something like that. We can send to the Postgres, but here it's easier and safer just to send inside of the database. So, well, we still have a problem. Oh, SSL on. Maybe the opposite. What is this? we still have the same problem? No entry for replication connection from host user replicator SSL off. Well, yeah, that's exactly what we did. Just one question here is because might not be using that configuration file.
Oh, you think it's doing another HBA conf or not using it at all?
Maybe. Oh, look what we have here.
Oh yeah, you're in a different location.
Yeah. That's bad. So.
Well, it is the Charlie.
Oh, see, we have a lot of more things here. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so then it's host no SSL. Don't forget. So.
I firmly believe. Let's try without.
Oh, you think that SSL is configured and we just didn't add the.
Yeah.
Hey, Gonzalo, how are you?
Okay, this is the one. And here you go.
Okay, yeah. So we were just using the wrong configuration file. So let this be a lesson to all of you. There are multiple locations where those configuration files could linger. It's always good to check.
Yep.
Or good to keep consistency, especially when the database servers are named after you.
Yeah, like we are not using this file here, right? So we don't need this, right? So then let's remove this file here. So
now everything's going to break, by the way.
It will not come. Well, that's the hope, right? So remember, I told you, I hope we would break a couple of things.
So I don't know if people knew this, but the way that Charlie is operating, and I'm just going to clue you all into this, is if Charlie says, I'm trying to make things break and fail, when they do break and fail, he looks like a genius. And then if he doesn't have them break or fail, he can be like, well, I knew it could fail, but I didn't want to just do those failures. I wanted something that was more meaningful. So he's got an out no matter which way he goes. It's awesome.
That's not true. That's totally not true.
It is totally true. It's totally true, everyone.
Okay, let's see how our application is what we. Look, it's hanging here. Remember that I said the PG-based backup will wait for a checkpoint?
Yes.
I have no idea what's the checkpoint configuration for our server.
I think you pushed it back because you set it up. Like you kind of deferred it quite a bit, I think, or at least a little bit.
I don't want to wait that much. No. I'm gonna force a checkpoint.
Yeah, you might as well.
See, I'm just force a checkpoint here. And that's why
there you go.
And look, yeah, here we go.
See, now it's copying.
When I forced the checkpoint, it started copying. And that's why I didn't want you to put too much load, because if you put too much load, you might have a huge checkpoint time.
I think we've only got like 5 or 6 users right now in terms of workload. So it's pretty light, all things considered. 2, 6, 7 users on the system. And it's not doing I mean, a lot of those are read users as well, so it's not like it's that much. There's just a few writes. So if we were to look at like the read write split ratio, it would be heavily read right now.
One option that I forgot to put here, and it's quite useful, is -r.
So what does -r do? Write configuration for
yeah. When it's finished, the copy, we have the copy of the file, but then we need to build the configuration file for the replica to connect to the primary. So I don't remember all the options. I never do, right? So what I'm gonna do? Okay, I'm gonna kill here for
But you're
now.
37% complete. What a waste.
Yeah, well, it could be worse. It could be 97%. So, right, I'm gonna wipe out data, replica, star, everything here. Remember that I told about the replication slot. So we might have here, where is my select replication slot? Now we have a replication slot with this name.
So you don't need to recreate it. You can just use
Yeah,
what's already there.
exactly. But the thing is, okay, now here, if I run here, that's gonna fail. Didn't? Well, that's supposed to, because we're asking the -c to create the replication slot with this name, and replication slot already exists. Let me force the checkpoint here, right? Yeah, it failed because replication slot replica already exists, right? So in this case, let's try to remove this -c. We just want to use a replication slot. We don't want to create a new one. So 3, 2, 1. That's not a checkpoint.
All right. So then this should start, and then we've got a question that popped up. And we can kind of, like, while we wait for this, we can go back to a couple of the questions that are out there. And so, working our way back, Jorge has said, is there an easy way to switch between the primary and the replica when you're using streaming replication and then go back? Can you toggle back and forth to which one is the primary?
Well, yeah, if I understood the questions, like I have the node A is the primary, node B is the replica, right? I want to demote node A to a replica and node B to a new primary. And at some point, go move it back, right? Is that the question?
Yes. So it's about making like B the primary and then going back to A later on.
Okay. Yeah. We do. Postgres has a tool that is PG, I never remember the name, PG, it's not here. Let me find the name, find dash pgctl. Postgres has a tool that
there's pgctl cluster there. Is that what you were looking
for? No. I just want to find the binary folder.
Oh.
Yeah, because, well, PG rewind.
Oh.
So, right? So what happens is when you demote the node, like something happens to the node A, and then you promoted the node B. There is a command on Postgres that it's pg promote. You can go here and select pg promote or promote something, pg promote or promote. Yeah, I think it's select pg promote. There is a command that you run on the node itself that you promote the node from replica to a primary. So that node will become a new primary, but it doesn't tell the other node that is now a primary. So at this point, you have two primaries. If you don't stop the old one, you have two primaries. You have a split brain situation, right?
Yeah, so because the replication is a one-way stream.
Exactly.
And so it doesn't reverse it automatically without having tools or some sort of automation in place.
Exactly. It doesn't do exactly. So, but what you can do is you can get this configuration file that we are creating here. Okay, the node, let's say the node 1 crashed. Well, the node 1 crashed, so it's gone. You go to the node B and select a PG promote. You promote it as a primary. So now we only have one node, and we have this node as a primary. So on this node here, you make sure that it doesn't receive any outside connection. Okay, just make sure the application not connect, you try to do anything, because at this point, if you just start up this node, it's going to be a private. Put a firewall, whatever. You do not accept connection. You go there, and then you change the configuration. We're going to see the configuration here to tell the node it's a replica. And we can use the tool PG rewind to put this node, the old primary, on the same timeline on Postgres. What is a timeline? Every time that we start a database, it creates that time. It's like, to those who watch Marvel's Kinematic Universe, or watch it Loki, we have those lines in time, right? So, and they might have different branches on the timeline. This is what happens to Postgres. So it has one timeline. When you promote a new node as a primary, it just breaks the old timeline and create a new timeline. The node A started with timeline 1. The node B gonna have the timeline number 2. PG rewind will get the node 1 and put to use the timeline number 2 from the node B. So now it can be a replica for node 2. If something happens, let's say now you have node B that's primary and node A that's a replica. If node B crashes and you need to promote node A, when you run the command to promote, it will create timeline number 3. So you need to run the PG rewind on node B, that was the old primary, to join this new timeline number 3. And you can just move back and forth between those two nodes. So the Postgres has a tool to make those things to work, make things then easier to work on timelines. But we need to be careful, because when you run the PG rewind to put on the new timeline, you might have some transactions that was not replicated. So all the transactions that were not replicated before that node crashes, when you run PG rewind, they're gonna be rolled back, because it will put on the timeline number 3, and those transactions that not being replicated to node B, they're just gone.
Okay, fair enough. We completed the backup now, right? So
okay, yeah, this is the file that I didn't want to create. So not only this, actually, yep. Okay, yeah, this is the file. So on this file here, what we have, actually, this is not the, we only have the target ones. I'm missing one file here. Oh, I didn't include the -r command, did I?
no, you didn't.
Oh, stupid me. I cancel for nothing.
Well, you canceled, and then you got so wound up in the story of the -c of the create, and when it failed, that you were like, oh, I've got to stop, and
Okay.
you
Okay.
reran. So here's an interesting question: can you just copy, or can you just do the create configuration file without actually doing the full backup?
That's a good one. I might be able to, but I've never tried. So it's a good time to try, right? It might be. I don't really know on top of my mind. I really need to that one. We need to research. What I'm trying to do here is to see if it creates on the beginning. So if I go for data, Replica 2, no, you're gonna create by the end, really? Come on. Database backup, sometimes you might help me. Not this time. Anyway, let's try to, we can Google.
I'm looking.
Oh.
I'm looking right now, seeing if there's anything that's like.
I really never remember those commands on top of my mind. That's why I always use -r. So, okay, what we need for the files, Replica 1. Replica. So I need the recovery.conf. The one thing is some of those files they change it from version to version. We're on version 13, right? Standby dot mode
Yeah, I don't see a way
equals
to
on.
just write that file out without doing the full backup.
Primary connection info. Here is host equals IP. This is the IP. Host. Well, I don't really need the port, but okay. Port 5432. We're using replicator password 321. It's been encrypted. Restore command for now. In our case, it's useless. So I'm gonna put empty here for now because we're not doing anything. Archive win command. In our case, is also useless because we're not archiving anything. So this one here should be able to do the trick. The thing is, they're all root. Yeah, because they run as root user. So not so smart. But I can do shell Postgres, shell dash r Postgres data. Okay. All right, so we have here, but if you pay attention, we're missing a couple of files, right? We don't have here the PostgreSQL.file, don't have here the pgctl.file. Those files, they've not been copied out because on the primary, they are not on the data G. So what PGBase backup does here is to copy the data G. It's kind of does a rsync, right? So we need to be careful with those. And also when we have table space on the database that's mounted elsewhere and we have seam links, so we might have problems. And this is something that we won't have time for today, but for next session when we play with Percona on all these kind of things, they also going to use PG-based backup. So one thing that we need to do here is on the primary, let's try to create some table space outside of the full data tier to see how that behaves when we do PG-based backup, right? Let's put in your notes so we do not forget. And because, well, those are things that we need to be careful. We need to really pay attention to make sure everything is being copied out. And especially when we're using symbolic links and all this kind of stuff, it sometimes mess up with the final result. So here, you probably won't have much problem because we have on etc Postgres 13 main, we have the configuration files. So you just clone the box. We have those files there. And one file that I'm missing here, before not only the recovery conf, but if we go here, we have this postmaster OPTS. So if I do not put this file here, when I start my database, it won't be able to get the files from the etc. Or I need to pass them manually. So I don't want to pass them manually now. And before you have this error, I want to copy. Okay. And if everything's fine, what I can do is I can just copy the pgctl command we run here, because, well, you never fixed that the system
I
CTL,
never
right?
fixed what this is your name all over it, not mine.
Oh, okay. So it almost started, but we have too much it's too much permissive here. So we need to do a
What are you trying to
sage
do? Get your system
mode.
hacked here, Charlie? You don't want to do that.
Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. So ch mode 700.
While Charlie's working on this, I want to remind everybody in a couple of weeks, not only are we doing these live streams, but we've got a online conference coming up. So the June 21st through the 23rd, Charlie's going to be speaking. I'm going to be speaking. I'm going to be talking about design principles in the database side. Charlie's got a couple different talks, including one about point-in-time recovery, I believe. And it is 100% live stream, just like this. So it's going to be on all of the same channels that we're on right now. And so there are over 30 speakers, I think, from all different companies. And we're going to be talking, Postgres, MySQL, Mongo, everything in between. So anything database related. So we've got a lot of topics. I'm going to drop the link in chat just so people have a copy of it in case they're interested in checking it out. But we hope that you can join us. All of that stuff will also end up on YouTube, so you can watch after the fact if you don't want to hang out live. But live, we will have people, the speakers answering questions in chat and things.
And here we go. It failed because, well, it should fail, right? So if it doesn't fail, it's not us making the live stream.
Well, remember, Charlie has already prefaced his goal is to make things fail because it makes it more interesting for you all in Streamland. Because
but this one I have a guess. Remember that the problem with the PID file?
Oh, yeah, you didn't fix that, did you?
Oh, this is another box.
Well,
look, I told you. Oh, it's not.
I told you to fix that. So if you go back, and those who have followed along in the 6 or 7 weeks that we've been doing this, every time Charlie runs into this problem, because when he set up these boxes, it was misconfigured a little bit. So every time he starts off, we start off with this problem, and we're like, oh, wait a minute, why did the server fail after we restarted after a week being shut down? And we're like, oh yeah, because you didn't create the right directory and didn't set this up properly. And so we've hit this problem every week. So Mahesh is here. Hey, Mahesh. And he says, hello, Charlie, but not hello, Matt. I don't get that, right? Like, he doesn't like me. I feel so unliked.
Okay.
Every week he does.
It says they're using a command inside of recovery conf that's not supported anymore for this version. And remember that I said from version to version some things change. Luckily, now the replica queue just finished and we have the configuration file.
Oh, so now we can go look at the official configuration file. So one of the problems, with software that's been around for as long as Postgres has is as it evolves, things break, right? So you just need to be
it does. So see, we have a post without config. Wow, it's quite different from what I just created, right? So yeah, it is. And okay, yeah, we do not use the, let me go here. CT recover.com. So we do not use this guy here. Postgres doesn't use this guy here anymore. It uses this standby.signal. It's just a placeholder file. It's empty files. You see the size 0 to say that, look, this is a standby. This is not a primary one. So good thing. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cp this postresult.conf and standby.signal to the replica. And they're gonna show, okay. And we now should be restart. Oops. And of course, there's always something else.
Mahesh, you didn't get Percona goodies? I thought we sent. I'm gonna go make sure we get that to you right now. So hold on a second. Charlie, continue on. But Mahesh says that he hasn't gotten what I promised him, which was some Percona swag. Charlie's wearing your swag right now, Mahesh. See, it's on his head. It's just it's the Percona hat. But we'll get you something.
Well, it's taking more than expected. Okay, this file doesn't. Oh, of course, because that it's from Postgres. So from the auto, the thing is, we don't want to use this here. We just start statement, because this position is from the other backup, remember? So
yeah, because we were doing PG backrest tests. Yeah.
Exactly. And so it won't exist for this one.
All right. So Mahesh, I just went to Danielle and Alex and asked them specifically, hey, did we ever get that sent out to you? So we will work on that. We'll work on that.
Let's complain for the timeline. We messed it up with a lot of timelines, didn't we? So what I'm gonna do here is unlink name, and then there should be the one name, city name. Oh, it's Replica 2. Yeah, that would not work. Data replica postmaster. Here. All right.
So now you have something a little different.
Oh, yeah, it's trying to recover this guy. It will not work because we don't have those files here. It needs to ask to the primary. Are we doing archiving on the primary?
I thought we were, because we were using PG backrest and doing point-in-time recovery the last couple of streams, so we should have set that up.
Yeah, the problem is the problem is those files are not accessible here. So it's complaining because, oops. It's complaining because it cannot access those files. Okay, now the problem to not access the files, okay. Request timeline 2 is not a child of the server's history. Okay.
See, this
Almost
is what you
there.
get when you mess with the sacred timeline, Charlie.
I told you. Mess up with the
Charlie,
timeline.
messing with the sacred timeline, everyone. Just, oh, gotta do that once in a while.
Mess up with the secret timeline. I told you.
Hey, you're the one who brought up the Marvel movie reference.
Oh, that's yeah. It's a very good reference. Probably same. Yeah. Latest checkpoint that's on timeline 1, but 1 is not in the history of the server. Okay, let's go back to the primary. We are on the primary, so let me see. Why are we doing the initc PostgreSQL 13 main PostgreSQL.conf archive command. We were archiving to stanza 1. Don't remember where the stanza is, but I suppose is data backup archive G1. It's not archiving. The problem is we don't have those files here anymore. Why they're complaining? So we are not supposed to need them at this point. Where am I here? Okay.
Charlie,
Yes.
real quick. So on the replica server,
Yes.
there's an Etsy Postgres config, right? And so that's going to
Yeah.
have the recovery in it.
Yeah.
Because it's a clone of the primary server. So go back to the replica, go under Etsy, Postgres. Yeah. I can mic drop now.
That's right.
If this works, I can mic drop because I knew something Charlie didn't. So I'm like, woohoo, my day's done. I can go celebrate the weekend early. Woohoo! We might also have a recovery config file there too. I don't know. Take a look at that directory and see what else is under there. There might be something else that's.
Actually, might be something here. Backup label start timeline. Oops. Okay. Request is still the same. Latest checkpoint. Okay. On timeline, but in the history of the requested timeline, the server will work it out with timeline.
All right, let me take a look myself. I'll parallel work with you here, but people won't be able to see my screen while I goof around. Maybe I can double second set of eyes. Sometimes it helps it make it go quicker.
CD varlib Postgres 13. Okay. So am I able to etc and you I want to do something here. So yes. Yeah, I'm Postgres. See, SSL, okay.
So what do you got going on now? So what do you think it is? I think it's a
Yeah, I'm making sure we have all the WAV files there. This is one of the problems. Okay, system ctl start ss. Okay. Rsync. I want to this guy here.
hey Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
Under where is this? Under varlib Postgres 13,
Yes.
there's a recovery signal file. Go back 2 directories. Go back one more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this going to cause any issues having the recovery signal in there? I don't think it should it?
No, shouldn't. And well, we're concerned on the main. So the
Unless
database will, yeah. Why it's okay. Permission the match and sudo. Okay. Okay.
So did it copy over the files, or was the wall files never made it over?
Not all of them.
Why would that
We
happen?
have, that's a good question. So I'm not able to SSH to the other box. Oh, interesting.
Why aren't you able to SSH to the other box? Wait, that's weird. As what user? Because it's only shell or SSH keys.
Not anymore. I just changed it. Password authentication, yes. See? Am I? Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay, password authentication. So which box is this one? Wall. So we have a lot of files, and we don't need all of them. It's complaining. Okay. And then log.
Permit root login is what Wilkins said. Because yeah, it's going to deny root login, even if you
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you could also just copy the keys over, which is what I'm doing, so they can just get to each other without a password, which is probably just as effective.
Yeah, it is.
These are your boxes, Charlie.
It should be disabled. Oops.
Now the question is, for those who are watching, does it make it go by quicker if I start singing while Charlie works? I mean, I could.
No, please, no. Please, God, no.
It's like lighting a fire under Charlie here. By the way, the keys are set up as well, as long as you are the Ubuntu user between the two.
Yeah, I need to be root. Okay,
Yeah, but then you can sudo once you're on the other box, right? So
yeah, but the rsync thing, that's one thing. Okay, this is one of the thing. Let me go back to the full error message. cd bar lead Postgres 13 main. Okay. In Postgres alt.com. We want to recover from here. We don't want to restore command. Thing is, let me do one thing here, because SSL command channel replication. SSL doesn't matter.
Oh, I wonder if
Times those guys here. Okay, now we have a new error log. Oops.
Oh, Charlie.
And yes,
I think.
You think?
Well, so in your autoconf, it was
Was
the recovery commands that were in there were from the previous instance, and then it added or appended on the end the replication side. But did you comment them out? Did I see you just comment those out, like the recovery target LSN restore command, things like that? Did I see those? Is that what you were doing?
this is for the latest backup.
Right. So
So
okay, but go. So look at the latest.
see, this is the
So
replica
go under
tree.
there. Go under there and go to the.
Okay.
So look at the autoconf.
Okay.
Okay, so you did comment out
Yes, I
those.
did.
Okay, because all of those were from the previous iteration.
Yeah, and one thing that I probably should for now have to comment out is this guy here.
So
Well,
so since when
this guy
you yeah.
we don't need those either. We're gonna make things simpler. Channel binding, okay. Yeah, when you were saying,
Well, so the autoconf has what was left over from the previous iteration. So if you were messing around with a point in time recovery, it's going to pick up all those variables, and it looks like the base backup tool is going to just append the replication stuff at the end, so it's not going to overwrite anything else that was already in there.
yes. Uh, the thing is, why it's still trying to go over the timeline number one?
Is it possible that when you is it possible that because you had those config files originally in there, that caused some weirdness?
It possibly it is. It's should be unlikely. Let's take a look on the etc Postgres 13 main post. So the only thing that the things that it does here. Okay, this is the data here. The address. Let's go through this file here, the socket. Okay, we're using SSL, it's working. The memory for us, it doesn't matter. The shared buffers, it's for now, it's fine. The archive mode, I'm gonna disable for now because it's the replica. Yeah, I'm not replica, maximum size, the same as we have on the primary. The recovery, they are okay. The log file, oops, log collectors, okay. Log prefix, we don't have any. That's okay. And include file here, do we know? We do, conf.t. So it should be empty. Oops. Okay, it's empty. It's not in there. So we don't have any extra files. So this one is not including anything else. So anything that you have from Postgres here, either for this include G here, that's with conf.t. I'm gonna comment out here just to make sure we don't have any surprise. And everything else should come from the data G. So the data G, what we have here, we have this backup stuff. So we don't need any of them here for now. Backup, whatever, we can move to previous folder, right? We have, let me take a look on the postmasters, the options that we have here. Okay, we just tell where to find the postgresql.conf, nothing else. And the postgres.ql.auto, it's gonna be appended by the end. You know what I'm gonna do? What's the name of the file? It is recovery.conf. Yeah. And we have Postgres. They're gonna move this file as a backup outside, right? So here, what we have the pgstat statements, the shard library. So we don't need, okay, for now, we're gonna be here. So the primary we're using the replication is logged. So the replication is logged should make sure everything is being there. I'm gonna make it quite simpler. We have the username, the password, the host name, the port. Well, SSL shouldn't be a problem. And
Do we need a recovery target timeline in there?
no,
Okay.
because we should not. All right. Well, using command, okay, fair enough. We move it back. Look, we're not using this file here, right? So actually, let's move this file here to TMP. I also gonna remove the standby. What I'm trying to do here at this point is to start this node as a standalone server. So we don't have recovery, we don't have standby. This is just a standalone server, right? So it's not replicating from any server. Okay. So we have a problem now. The problem is not related to the replication, right?
It's probably still related to the recovery. It took the backup and it can't
Yes.
recover to the log file that it is looking for whatever reason.
Well, now we have a different problem.
One of those.
Something is happening.
Something is happening. It's a lot of dots.
Those are, and the problem can still fail.
There you go, server started.
Well, it's started, so at least we have something here. We have a database. It's not a replica. So, okay, the database is stopped. Let's stop the database. So I don't want to do anything on this database, right? So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna cp the PostgreSQL.out.com here. Let me, so why my Vim is not working now? Well, from time to time, your box just stop working the Vim. Serious that I need to use. Let's try VI. Nope. Nobody deserves to use Nano.
So try to start it again with that command, and if not, I'm curious. Like, so I was just browsing through the documents, and there's a comment in here that maybe you have to use the recovery target timeline. It says the default behavior of recovery is to recover the latest timeline found in the archive. If you wish to recover to a timeline that was current when the base backup was taken, or into a specific child timeline, you need to specify current or the current timeline ID in the recovery target timeline. Because that's what you were getting was you were in the wrong timeline, right? Was the error before?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if the -r command in the base backup command didn't actually give you all the parameters you needed. So just try and start with this, and then let's see if we add the recovery target timeline, which I think if we set that to current.
Yeah, we have it now, right?
Well, we don't have the current target in there, right? So that was
no, we don't have. Yeah, this is just the so we only have the primary connection info and the primary slot name, and with the standby signal, we're saying we are standby, right? So we don't have restore command, we don't have archiving anything for this one.
Right.
We're just telling we want the server to be a standby, and we're telling the where to go. So let's make sure that's stopped. Yeah. Okay, it was not running. Let's start. And yeah, as expected, we're probably gonna get the same error, right?
Yeah, it's different timeline. So go
Okay.
ahead and try recovery _target _timeline. And I don't know if we need current or latest.
Recover. Nano. I hate Nano. Control C. Okay. Recovery _ Can you say that again?
Sorry. Yeah. Hold on. Recovery _target _timeline. Try latest.
But latest is the full, right?
It says that's I mean but that's what you need for the standby. It needs to recover to the latest.
What is wrong with Nano?
Why are you using nano anyway?
It's because Vim is not working. Look. I'm typing here and it's doing nothing.
Lord.
Yeah. When the server stopped working, everything stops working. Now we have to use nano. Okay, just to make sure we get it. Okay, target. Okay. Start.
No.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, we're running out of time.
Charlie, how dare you run out of time?
Yes, I need to drop in 10 minutes. So what I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back. City bar.
Okay.
Postgres 13. Okay. Main, right? Unlink replica 2. Oops, not replica 2, main. Because we messed it up with this one. CG main. Then PostgreSQL. Oh, please import, not working. So replica 1. Let me just put one option here to see if that's gonna work. Recovery. Yeah. Instead of latest. Okay, here is nano. Can you put that? I can do it here, just quickly. CG home Ubuntu. It is catch SSH. Authorize it. Actually, don't want to catch it. I want to copy these two. Barley Postgres. Yep. It's not copy cp-r because it's a folder. Okay, now I can do what I can do is on Ubuntu. So this is a certificate, right? You created. So cp -r stage. Oops, actually it's on Ubuntu .stage to valid Ubuntu valid Postgres.
All right, so Charlie, you've got to go to a meeting, you said. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to walk through these servers and just redo the setup myself. And
Okay.
If I can get it working, then I will go live myself and just kind of show everybody. Because it
Also, look, what I'm doing here is I'm doing the rsync for the restore command. So this can try to copy the data here, right? So it's Postgres at, because we have this backup, archive, blah, 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 on that other service, right? Or no, we're not archiving there.
Yep, Charlie.
Yep.
So I think this is one of those things that as we dig in deeper, sometimes we just need to take a reset. So let me just go back. I'll go through and try and get replication set up between these two servers. I've got a bit more time, so I'm just gonna go from kind of a zero sum and just start over and walk through the process myself.
Okay.
And I'll make sure that I can get through, and then once I do, like I said, I can go live just as kind of a one-off stream for folks, and then walk through the process after I document it here. But so I think there was a quite a few things. I think the last 20 minutes or so we just started to let's try, and sometimes it's better just to take a step back.
Okay. Can you not remove these two folders?
Sure.
And create a new one? So because I also want to go there and to with time understand what was the problem, because people out there, they might hit the same problem, right? So when you have like terabytes of data, you don't want to stream the whole backup anymore again, right? So
right. I mean, in this case, it's a small database, so it's easy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I want to after this meeting that I have like in few minutes, I want to go back to this to the server to see what is the problem. So thinking with no camera, no lights on my face, so I'll think better.
Okay.
And then I will record to try to fix the problem, and then I also gonna do another video and explain what the problem is. Does that sound good?
Fair enough. All right. So everyone, thanks for hanging out for almost 2 hours now. We need to schedule this for 2 hours, Charlie.
No.
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 Yes. But so in 2 weeks we will be back on a Thursday. And our goal is to continue the replication stream and keep it going with Percona. So we have to have this problem worked out before then. So we'll definitely get this resolved.
Yeah, we need to get this fixed because this is the baseline, right?
Yep. And then in 3 weeks, we are going to be back with Percona Community Online. So Charlie's going to be talking. There's going to be several other folks talking. I dropped a link in the chat in case you're interested in that. But until next time, we appreciate you hanging out, and we'll get back to you shortly with a replication setup that works. All right. All righty, everybody. Thanks a bunch.